Anarchy in the Arena. The Jericho Appreciation Society come out in matching white outfits, complete with matching Kangol hats.
Yeah, I don't know if they were going for Boys to Men or like a Millennium era Backstreet Boys or what, but it was something. It was certainly entertaining. Yeah.
And then Wild Thing takes over, and out comes Jon Moxley, Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and if you had imagined in 2001 that Bryan Danielson would be sleeveless coming through the crowd to Wild Thing, looking like just the badass that has come to wreak havoc, what a visual this was. And then they put Wild Thing on loop for the first like couple of minutes of this entire match as we thought like maybe there's going to be some pre-produced segments, some comedy. I guess in some ways there was some comedy, but this was designed to just be a violent, wild, holy shit fight for 20 minutes. And that's what you got here.
Exactly as the name suggests, it was anarchy. Uncontrollable, wild, hard to capture on camera, sloppy, and it was great.
So I'm going to do my best here, okay? Matt Menard probably needs a blood transfusion by the end of this. I mean, he just bled buckets.
I think like part of it is so great because sometimes you have no idea why he's bleeding. You just like, you're focused on something else for a long time, and then you cut back to Matt Menard and the dude is just like gushing blood.
It started with the fork, fork, and it just progressively got worse for the rest of this match. But the moment of this match that it might not have been when you were watching it, but it will be with context. Did you notice when Jon Moxley went to put Chris Jericho into a rear naked choke and they got into a portable scooter?
I did see that, yeah. And
so this scooter, property of one Chris from LA.
You're kidding me.
This is Chris's mobility scooter, and they used it.
Can we get some insight about this, maybe from the man himself?
Chris,
yeah, what's up, y'all?
Did they sign like a waiver or something? I mean, did they just go into business for themselves here?
No, so the thing is I wasn't going to get a mobility scooter because I was moving around okay the first couple of days. You know, I just had the brain surgery and all that stuff, so I didn't know how I was going to react to going to Vegas. So I had the scooter parked. We were like we were like right ringside by everything. And the scooter was parked. And then when we sat on our seat, this one of the guards was like, hey, do you mind if we move your scooter? And because it was by these tables that they were going to use for the match. And the guy specifically said that the Moxley, that match was probably going to get a little crazy. So they moved my scooter. And that was a scooter I rented from the hotel that I almost didn't get, but my girlfriend talked me into getting it. And it was parked right there, and and then like they did their thing on it, and then like when I at the end of the show when I found it, a bunch of nasty ass wrestler sweat.
Wow, so this was an unprompted scooter jacking. Yeah,
it was. I did not know that was coming at all.
That's amazing, dude.
I was just like, and I tweeted TK. I was like, "Hey man, you boys, you know that's the scooter I rented for mobility, you know."
Chris, while we've got you for a few minutes here, what was the Anarchy match like the high point for the crowd? And as well, like the length of the show. How did the audience feel? Length of the show.
There were some down parts to the show. They reacted really strong for like Stokely Hathaway and Athena. Everybody hated Sammy Guevara, at least in my section. He got booed every time somebody did anything to him. He was getting booed, and his Ty Conti also. No one liked them. And then the guy in the front row, he's like, "Hey, didn't you come in here on that scooter?" So, like it was just nuts, man. I didn't see that coming. And, my girlfriend was the first person that told me they were on my scooter too. She's right there on the bed, and yeah, she said, "I think they're on your scooter." And then everyone's like, it was nuts, man. That's pretty much it.
While we have you on the line, Chris, how much of the MJF discussion was there prior to the show, and what was the audience reaction to and after that match?
Okay, so when I got here on when we got here Friday, and I was gonna go to the AEW show that day, but then they were like, a few of my friends were like, well, the fan fest thing. They said it wasn't really that great, and there were some no-shows and all that stuff. And then that's when I start getting wind of MJF no-showing the fan fest, and then possibly no-showing today's show. But what kind of made me think he was going to be there, because me and my girlfriend, and then my friend Adam from True Hill Heat, not Adam, my friend Johnny from True Hill Heat, we were at the beer house, and the DJ was playing just a bunch of wrestling music. The beer house was right next to the T-Mobile Center, and they played MJF's song a few different times. You know, more than one made me think that someone might have tipped this DJ or something to that MJF was going to be there. But yeah, that was the talk of the weekend. And this weekend, because I went to the first Double or Nothing in 2019, and that whole week was like an AEW week, and you really didn't get the feel that this was an AEW week until today. It really didn't feel like. I remember I met you guys in Chicago that one year for what was it?
All in, yeah. And even that weekend, kind of, it seemed like the wrestling event took over the weekend. In this AEW show, you really didn't get the feel that it was an AEW weekend until today, when everybody became alive. Nobody that I talked to enjoyed the Fan Fest, or they didn't outwardly tell me that. Like most of the people that I talked to said that you didn't waste. You saved your money. You didn't need to come to this thing. So hopefully they could get that taken care of, or maybe get StarCast back next year. I don't know what Conrad's. He's doing it with SummerSlam this year. So.
Before we say goodbye, Chris, what was your high point of the show, and what grade would you give Double or Nothing from a live perspective?
From a live perspective, I'll give it an A+, because I bought an ex-girlfriend to a WWE show back in 2009, and we're not dating anymore. So it was like right after that show. Me about
oh no,
the WWE show is that they're like, listen, we got to talk.
Yeah,
what was the show?
That ended our relationship.
Oh my.
My girlfriend now, I've been with her for 5 years. This is the first wrestling show. She enjoyed it. She wasn't bored. The highlight of the show for me was just when Athena came out. That was probably like my biggest mark out moment. And then I'm actually supposed to be going to all Dynamite and Rampage when they come to Vegas this week, or when they go to LA next week.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great weekend, man. And I really just everybody at the hotel was just very accommodating. Everybody at the T-Mobile Center was super cool. I got no complaints,
Cool.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thanks so much for taking some time just to call in. We want to get your live event thoughts. I'm sure you will be chatting about this on the next show. Do you want to give a quick plug for anything you've got coming up soon? KM
Easy does it. I'm right now in the I'm talking to Brandon Thurston about writing articles for WrestleNomics. So we'll see how that goes. I'm so like I'm like knee deep in my dissertation. So like anything else kind of plays second fiddle with that. And follow me on He Does It on Twitter. And that's it, man. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming on, Chris, and a great show that you, Nate, and Andrew just did last weekend.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Chris from LA, everybody, who inadvertently had a role in Anarchy in the Arena at the T-Mobile Arena. But we'll get back into things. So throughout, I would say the first 5 minutes, Wild Thing is playing. And then finally, Jericho smashes the soundboard to end it. But you really had the thought that they were just going to keep this thing on loop for the whole match.
Uh-huh. I love that. I loved it. Listen, if it's good enough for New Jack, it is good enough for this type of match. It was absolutely the perfect what the fuck type of thing to set the mood off at the beginning, and it just worked really well. I mean, I think it would have went pretty old after maybe the second time, but when it looped that first time, this crowd reacted huge. Okay, it went silent, and then the riff plays again, and this crowd just went nuts. I think the joke lasted just the right amount of length, and I love the out that they had for it.
It was a great idea of how to get rid of it, and Jericho just gets booed from killing it. We had coolers of drinks. We had choke spots. Moxley unscrews the turnbuckle, so we have the top rope that has been taken off, and he uses it as a weapon on Jericho. We cut to the concourse area. Eddie Kingston has been just bludgeoned as he's attacking Daniel Garcia. Santana and Ortiz set up a huge ladder and deliver splashes in the crowd to Parker and Menard on tables. Jericho got a fire extinguisher and sprayed it in Moxley's face. So we got all the white crap from the extinguisher mixed, like caked in with his blood. This man, it looked like he was auditioning like for a Home Alone stunt.
This whole match felt like a Home Alone stunt, basically. Yeah.
Danielson and Moxley, they dropped the elbows on Jericho and Hager and then turned to the label lock and bulldog choke respectively. When the visual of the night occurs, we cut to the entrance, and there, staggering, wobbling out from the back, is Eddie Kingston, full of blood, with his decrepit New York Yankees shirt, what remains of it, holding a can of gasoline.
With the most deranged look on his face.
Dude, this is the ultimate meme that will come out of this show.
I want to see cosplayers replicate this one image. I need an action figure of Eddie Kingston drenched in blood carrying a canister of gasoline made by, whatever toy company makes their toys. It was one of the greatest visuals I've seen in professional wrestling.
Also, and I'm so glad they replayed it during the buy-in, but they did air that promo Kingston cut going into this that, my God, should that thing have been on every television show this week. I was glad because watching in real time on the buy-in, there was a bunch of people I'm seeing tweets from that were seeing this for the first time. Oh, yeah. This was not even in the countdown show. It was an exclusive that they probably shot and just didn't have room, or I don't know what happened. This was one of the best promos of the year. I
almost get the sense Kingston at some point was inspired and he was like, who's got a camera for me? Get a camera guy. I'm about to speak. Because this was not really an element that was at all introduced in the body of the storytelling here. This was Kingston talking about diving back into alcoholism.
Yeah.
And how he had to, rekindle, like his demons were rekindled as a result of Jericho doing all of this stuff to him. It was one of the best promos we've heard from Eddie Kingston.
He's trying to drown his demons, but they keep swimming.
Oh, poetry. Like, listen to that. So, I mean, I'm really glad they played it here. I wish it was on like actual TV and somehow worked maybe a bit more seamlessly into the fabric.
I would have done whatever I could to have aired that on Rampage on Friday. I just think like the more people that would have seen that, the better, because it was a terrific promo. He pours gasoline on top of Jericho and Danielson Danielson's pissed. He's like, we're on the same team and you're dropping gasoline on me.
He was also, I think, pissed because how can somebody do this to another human being? Like in the end, he likes violence. I don't think he likes that type of violence, burning somebody alive. And it also helps because in the countdown special and also in the video beforehand, you heard Brian say, I actually like Jericho more than I like Eddie Kingston.
I think you have to do Danielson and Kingston, and I think this only sealed it after this. I was waiting for Danielson to get up and scream, "I drive electric! I haven't touched gasoline in 20 years!" Jericho then attacks them with chair shots as Danielson and Kingston are fighting. Hager sends Moxley off the apron through a barbed wire board on a table. One thing, and you alluded to this way, is a potential problem. Like, I think a ton of stuff was missed in this match because you just couldn't follow all of it. And they did their best to replay some stunts, but I'm sure we missed a bunch in this.
Very true. But I think it added to the appeal of just the chaotic nature of this match, where directors couldn't follow it. If you're there live, you don't know which way to look. The match is called Anarchy in the arena. As much as I hate the name, they did live up to it, though. Yeah,
it was like a live 23-minute fight scene with 10 actors that you just had to cut to, and the table that Moxley is sent through, it tips. He does not break this table either, with the barbed wire on top of it. There's a Judas effect to Kingston as Jericho's wiping off the gasoline, and the big spot, Danielson has like the one last big comeback against Hager and Jericho where he has all the fire in the world without literal fire. That this would have been a bad idea if they lit
metaphorical fire, yes.
With forearms and kicks, and then a Busaiku knee to Hager, and another one into a chair with Jericho for a near fall. And Danielson proclaims, "I'm going to kick his fucking head in." And Hager comes from behind with a bat to the knee of Danielson. Jericho plies the walls as Hager chokes him with the ring rope until Aubrey waves it off at 22 minutes and 41 seconds. This was spectacular. This crowd was on the edge of their seats for all 22 minutes and 41 seconds.
4 hours into the show, John.
And the length into this show, they deserve even more credit for it. But you had my attention for this entire thing. This was my match of the show. I thought it was pretty...
Yeah. That is not at all a bold statement. I'm going to have to assess whether or not this was or the main event was, but they are two completely different styles of match. And if you went one way versus another, I would not fault you for it.
I just thought for crowd engagement and for this being something different for what it was, like this is operating in a different category than than everything else on this show. Mm-hmm. How could you have performed a better version of what this was set out to be? I thought it was tremendous.
It was a lovely, wonderful, sloppy, disgusting, violent mess. From the get-go, I think the intent of the match was to create an unpredictable, anything goes, wild tone. We've seen plenty of sort of like arena brawls, falls count anywhere matches. They kind of range from being completely, I don't know, cookie cutter. Like, here, I'm going to hit you with the trash can lid, and you're going to hit me with the trash can lid. Somebody's going to blade, and boom. This was a lot more special than that. We had wondered how they would maybe live up to perhaps the creativity set by the Stadium Stampede matches. This did not resort to any sort of pre-filmed gimmickry, I suppose you could say. Instead, it relied on, I think, creativity directed towards brutality and just, going through the arena, bleeding buckets of blood through the crowd, and just like disastrous results. And again, I think cutting back and forth, not catching every single thing, just to me kind of added to like, hey, what the hell's going on? That type of vibe. Playing Wild Thing on loop throughout the first 10 minutes, I thought was wonderful and created a great memory. The visual of Eddie Kingston walking out half dead with that tank of gasoline is a visual I won't soon forget. And in the end, I thought you had some great storytelling elements with Bryan Danielson here. Him getting in the way of Kingston burning Jericho alive, building on their promos that, both of them cut prior to the match, and using the knee injury in the finish here. We had wondered, okay, was Bryan just fucking around? They subtly teased it on Rampage that, you were going to see effects from this kick, and it played into the finish here with Hager beating him with the bat, leading to the half Boston Crab, the half walls of Jericho. It was very well used. This match to me was like going to a concert. And, you might listen to a band on record and marvel at the technical appeal.
Then the other band kills the sound system and you boo them.
Maybe that too. But, if the sound system was still alive, okay, the music and the singing and the guitar solos may not be album accurate, but the vibe and the energy and the craziness of seeing people live, diving off the stage, doing all sorts of crazy shit that you would never get by just watching the album, technically perfect performance, makes this that much more worthwhile to me as a live experience. It's the closest I've come to feeling that way about a wrestling match in quite some time, and some of the most fun I've had watching a wrestling match in quite some time.
We also got everything came full circle 12 years later, almost exactly to the day, where Justin Roberts announces the winners after Bryan Danielson has been choked out.
There you go. Exactly.
The cause of Danielson's firing.
And I wonder if that was a response. I mean, I was expecting Justin Roberts to come in and make the save for Bryan Danielson after, or maybe he would pull the chain this time, pull the necktie this time.